20% of the season comes to a close right here in Homestead-Miami Speedway. Really good shot there of the good sky cam of the track. 1.5 mile racetrack here, just outside of Metro Miami. The Ford 400. Welcome everyone to ABN's coverage of the Winstel Cup Series from Daytona through Homestead all the way to Atlanta at the end of the season. All season long here on Twitch. To get to experience a little bit different of an environment here today. Typically, pre-qualifying is held separately from the main course of the event. Beginning this week, not the case. So we're going to see all the drivers in the field, 51, try to qualify their way in. Top 35 in points, they're safe. If you're outside the top 35, you've got to qualify your way in. You've got to put together a really good lap, and you've only got one in qualifying. We're in practice right now. So we're going to see qualifying here just shortly. It's going to be a wild time. For those tuning in, I'm Carmen Sienna. We're glad you're with us here for an incredible Sunday of racing from the Sunshine State. "52 cars now set to try to qualify their way in. As I mentioned before, the top 35 in safety. They are locked in. So it is not the end of the world. If you look at the environment that you're in right now, if you're top 35 and you don't qualify well, it's not going to necessarily be the make or break situation there. Brandon McKissick, points leader going into this race over Larry Pace, Emily Howell in third, Dylan Roberts fourth, Jacob Potak top 5 over the defending champion Christian Budd, Nick Doucette, Gabriel Mauricio. We'll go over as we kind of walk through the session about to pop up here, the drivers that are at risk of not being able to qualify for this race. 43 cars make the field. We have 52, so that means that there's at least 9 set to go home from qualifying. Pulling information up right here. Steve Brown, one of those in a little bit of danger. 43rd in points. He's got some work to do. He was only 41st fastest in practice there. So we'll see what he can do in qualifying. We'll kind of break all that down as we progress through this qualifying session. And now it is showtime. One of the first cars coming out of pit lane is going to be that 09, the Phoenix Racing car of Larry Pace. Pace on the racetrack at the moment. Several cars on the racetrack. Pace, Roberts, Tyler Head, Austin Reedy, Gabriel Mauricio, Alex Bates, Austin Cordulas, Christian Budd, Brendan McGee, Kyle Benson, all on the racetrack at the moment, as well as others. There's actually a decent chunk of drivers that are on the racetrack at the moment. Christina Ryan, Chris Champeau, Andrew Ratcliffe, Edmund Ellison, who is in a new ride as well. We'll talk about that in a second. Larry Pace expected to be a contender for pole position, as he normally is. Let's see what he's got. Sending it into turns 3 and 4 here. This is his only timed lap. Everyone only gets one. What can Larry Pace do with it? Out of 3 and 4. Little sideways, little step out there. Looks fast. 154.63 was the fastest lap time there, and he's still top of the board. Fantastic job. Edmund Ellison, new look for him. And that 92 Taco Bell machine goes 13th fastest. Brandon McKissick goes faster. Goes to pole position. A fantastic job for Brandon McKissick. What about his teammate? Where can Alex Bates go? Outside wall. Getting as close to that as possible. Try to build up as much speed as possible here to the start-finish line. This is starting his lap. Going to be a very busy track here over the next few minutes. You see lap time shuffling in. McKissick still the fastest over Larry Pace. Tyler Head up in third. Keep an eye on that. We'll talk about the McKissick and Tyler Head feud in just a second. Jose Solis Jr. goes 6th. Mauricio 8th. Krobach in 10th. Andy Truffiano goes 7th in that 08 car. Bates, good enough for 12th. Gets immediately jumped by Parker Alexander. Now let's keep an eye on the 14, Andrew Ferrinars. This is coming to start a lap for the 14. He was fastest in practice, so we know the pace is in that 14 car. Can he wrestle the pace out of it in a single lap here? We'll find out. Ferrinars is in the top 35, so this 14 car is locked in case something does go wrong. Little step out there at 3 and 4. 153.91 is not going to be fast enough for pole position. It is fast enough for top 12. Ryan Doucette knocks Larry Pace off the front row. Second place for the 13 car. He's had the pace. Matt Taylor in the 32 car. This is on a run. First fastest for the 32. A pretty safe lap time for Matt Taylor. I'll pull it to a stop there. Austin Cardulis will fail to qualify in that 52 car. Andrew Morera 47th. His night comes to a very early end. Was not one of those locked in to the race. Several drivers that did not qualify, did not set lap times that are safe. Philip Snipes, Tyler Murray, Josh Chen, and Corey Steinhauser. Steinhauser 34th in points there. Josh Chen, he's starting from the back of the field here, but he is 17th in points going in. Philip Snipes 22nd in points there. Tyler Murray 29th in points, so they're all safe. So Cardulis, Leandro Morera, two of the drivers going home. We'll go over that full list here in just a second here. Christopher Bishop, he's also going home. Ken Huff going home as well. Ryan Hill using his top 35 provisional, 44th fastest. He'll be near the back of the field as well. The 89 of Hayden Rapus, also not top 35 in points here going in. You have to look up a little bit further forward. Edmund Ellison and the new 92 machine. I don't believe he's safe. Indeed, he's not. Only 47th in points there. Austin Reedy, the 77, is one of those that are safe. Steve Brown, we talked about the pressure on him going into this. 43rd in points outside of the top 35. Qualified this race 38th fastest. So a lot of pressure going at the back of the field. Several drivers going home from qualifying here. 9 drivers total going home from qualifying. The pressure is going to be really on Brandon McKissick and Tyler Head here. This is going to be very interesting. Last time we saw both these cars on track together, there was a run-in between Tyler Head and Brandon McKissick. Tyler Head not happy with how he was run by McKissick, ended up wrecking him after the race ended a few weeks ago. McKissick sat out Bristol. Tyler Head didn't have the best Bristol race. And so now here we are again, both of them in the top 5 once again. Which should make things very interesting at a track that is going to be notoriously really slick. You can see the heat haze off of the tarmac here. The asphalt at Homestead-Miami Speedway. This is going to be difficult. So let's go through the full qualifying results. McKissick, Ryan Doucette, your front row. Larry Pace, Tyler Head in row number 2. Ryan Andrew, Christian Budd, row 3. Then it's Dylan Roberts and Jacob Potak, row 4. Jose Solis Jr. and Andy Trupiano in the top 10. A great job for them in that 08 machine. Parker Alexander and Sean Peleg in the 6th row ahead of Brandon Cruz. One of his best qualifying efforts this season to the first 5 races, alongside the 14 of Andrew Ferrinares. Emily Howell, top 3 in points, starts 15th alongside Gabriel Mauricio. Jeremy Davis and Anthony Krobach in row 9 ahead of Craig Lautenslager and Alex Bates. Row 11, Matt Taylor and Lucas Davila. Both of them safe. The Argentinian has had a very rough start of the season. He's qualified his way in, though, here in Miami. Jonathan Hernandez and Tom Willett in row 12 ahead of Brandon Coppinger, who missed last week at Bristol, and Andrew Ratcliffe in row number 13. Row 14, Evan Locke and Kirk Marble, and then Evan Melanson and Chris Champeau in row 15. Christina Ryan, very bad qualifying effort for the 88 crew, only in row 16 alongside the debutante of Kyle Gray. Then it's Kyle Benson and Nick Doucette in row number 17. Corey Cook and Matt Skipper, row 18. Then you start looking at some of the drivers that are in danger of not making it.
Hang on, we're not going green.
Yeah, Brendan McGee, Steve Brown, Andrew Griesbaum, Matt Sisler. That's how the qualifying results end up cycling through here. Austin Reedy, Edmund Allison, Hayden Rapus. A lot of these drivers you're seeing on this page are not making it in. Morera, Bishop, Huff, Ellison, Rapus, not making it in. And neither did Austin Cardulas, who wrecked out in qualifying. So let's break it down for you, all the cars that failed to qualify for this event. You have the 89 of Hayden Repus, the machine for Chris Bishop, Arslan Cardula, Steve Brown, Matt Skipper, Corey Cook, Edmund Ellison, Leandro Morera among the DNQs here. I'm seeing 44 cars on the racetrack though. So someone has joined the racetrack without necessarily being permitted to. Listening in, appreciate you spending your time here on Winstel Racing on AVN. We got 44 cars on the racetrack. Field side's supposed to be 43, so someone is on track that shouldn't be. I will let the series staff, the series officials, figure that one out. It is going to be Brandon McKissick and Ryan Doucette front of the field. Larry Pace, Tyler Head, row 2. Ryan Andrew, Christian Budd, row 3. The pace car will take the hard left turn into pit lane, and the Ford 400 is underway. We're racing at Homestead-Miami. And they immediately fan out, 3 wide, 4 wide further back. Still side by side for the front. Doucette goes top lane. Tyler Head just a lane back in the middle. McKissick will lead lap number 1. Really good job there by McKissick early on in this event. Jose Solis Jr. up near the wall, trying to rim ride. And the number 29 machine. 29 car synonymous with happy Kevin Harvick. It's happy Jose right now. He is up near the front of the field to start off this race. Let's see if he can stay that way across this event. We are on lap 3 now. Trouble, and it's the 48. You saw it in the foreground of that shot. And once again, it is the 48 Sean Pelleg that ends up wrong way around, his season going from bad to even worse. And I guess the big question now as we look at the damage on that 48 car, was he assisted in that spin? We'll take the time to find out. Answer that question a little bit by Jeremy Davis. Not a great angle there coming down the front straightaway. It looked like he tried to change lanes there and clear himself, and I don't think he had enough space to make it happen. Let's go up on our chopper cam here. Jeremy Davis in the 4. Sean in the 48. Everyone trying to avoid the 08 of Andy Trupiano, who I think tagged the wall out of 4. Yeah, he's oh yeah. I don't think he realizes the 08 was as slow as he was. Jeremy Davis unsighted. He doesn't have anywhere he can go. A little bit of teammate contact there with the 5 of Parker Alexander. Everyone trying to avoid almost all 400 cars involved in that one. 25 having to take avoiding action there as well as the 24 of Nick Doucette. Being driven by Jonathan Hernandez. Just another look here. Real speed. Up above. Yeah, he just runs to the 08, not realizing the 08 was slow after tagging the wall. And everyone does a really good job avoiding that. The 25 Hernandez, a fantastic job avoiding that. Evan Locke has to go to avoid. That could have been a way worse crash than what it ended up being. So I think the overall consensus is that they'll take that one. They will move the 48 crew to the back of the field as the front of the field remains in the possession of the Chip Ganassi Racing Dodge of Brandon McKissick. 42 front of the field ahead of Ryan Doucette, Larry Pace, and Tyler Head. The top 4 all where they started this race. Row 3 inverted their positions. Christian Budd ahead of Ryan Andrew. Then it's Dylan Roberts, Jose Solis Jr., Jacob Potak, and Andrew Ferrinares. Your top 10. Phenomenal run so far. McKissick, Doucette, Pace, Head, and Budd. Your top 5. Lights out on that Ford Mustang pace car, which means we're back in racing. And Sean Pelleg will now go a lap down, so this will officially make life difficult for the 48 crew. Outside the top 10, Parker Alexander, Gabriel Mauricio, Craig Lautenslager, Tom Willett, Andrew Ratcliffe. The interesting thing about this is that, again, 44 cars. Sean Peleg is now the 44th car on the field. So I'm assuming if they've not picked up on it yet, they have picked up on it now that they've allowed an extra car on the track. Comes to the green here on this first restart in Miami, the first of 60 laps. Let's try to get a green flag running in. To start lap 7, here we go. And they will all fan out massively out of turn 4 down the front straightaway. McKissick, though, in control. Tyler Head trying to find his way around the 09 Larry Pace and quickly. Keep an eye on the 24 further back in the running order there. Nick Doucette. There he is. That DuPont Chevrolet used the outside lane to get around a couple cars at the same time. That was McGee and the 32 of Matt Taylor, both getting past. And here comes the 38 of Kyle Benson. His teammate Christina Ryan already up into 17th. Kyle Benson not having the same success moving forward as the 88. Only 26th place at the moment, battling side by side with the Daytona 500 winner. Matt Taylor dropping out of the way. That 32 Tide Chevrolet. Here comes Chris Champeau in the 77 of Austin Reedy. Doucette has set sail on this group, trying to move himself closer to the top 20. Battling now with the debutant Kyle Gray, who made the show on his first start. Congratulations in order for him. And Furniture Row Racing Chevrolet, though, has some work to do, starting down in 32nd place up to 24th, but getting passed by one of the veterans. Biggest mover of the race right now is the 07, the Jack Daniel Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing, Tyler Murray. Started this race at the back of the field, did not qualify, did not set a starting time, was in the top 35 in points, used that provisional, and is already up to 22nd. Comparison to Brandon McKissick for Tyler Murray. About a mile an hour off the pace. McKissick in clean air. Traffic for Murray. One thing I do want to keep an eye on is Nick Doucette, who is running faster right now than the race leader. And caution's out for the second time. And it is for multiple cars, Evan Mellinson and Ryan Hill. Ryan Hill towing. So this is what happened going in 3 wide. This is Mellinson, Alex Bates, and Evan Locke. 3 wide into turn 3. Does someone get shuffled up? Oh, Ryan Hill gets turned up off the nose of Brandon Coppinger. Trouble there for Josh Chin as well. But cars coming to a stop there, the 7 and the 36. And Ryan Hill calling it a day in that 7 car. Really rough look there. This is bad news bears. And it's just Coppinger. That's Coppinger moving down and Ryan Hill moving up. We'll grab an onboard of Coppinger there in just a second. Near the back of the field, though, not a great place to be. And so things will shuffle around a little bit. So let's see if we can grab an onboard there, Brandon Coppinger. Good look at the onboard here from the 66. Ryan Hill just kind of shifts up a little bit. You see the seam. Coppinger kind of moves down the right that seam a little bit. Ryan Hill a little loose, drifts up just enough. I do believe that that may be seen as a racing incident by the Winstel stewards. That's just two drivers going for the same piece of real estate. Coventry moved first, but Ryan Hill moving up is what turned him off the nose of the 66 there. So just really unfortunate for Ryan Hill, who did not have a great Bristol either. You see Evan Melanson also having a bad time in that 36 car. Josh Chin also in pit lane for extended repairs in that 93. This does allow the 48 back onto the lead lap. Free pass. Aaron's lucky dog for car 48. He'll come back down pit lane, grab some service, and we'll start at the back of the field. Meanwhile, front of the field, not sure we'd expected this one. It is the 25 of Jonathan Hernandez, front of the field, a winner at Daytona, Pepsi 400 last year. Doing well once again in Florida. He's leading Alex Bates, who was in that 25 car last season. Jeremy Davis, Jose Solis Jr., and Emily Howe, your top five, with the lights out on that pace car. Larry Pace, Brandon McKissick, Ryan Doucette, Tyler Head, and Christian Budd, your top 10, as they round out, heading down the back straightaway. So it is Hernandez, Bates, and then Jeremy Davis that'll be in this fight early. We are on lap 13, coming to start lap 14 here in Homestead-Miami Speedway. Second caution, second restart. As the green flag flies, we are back underway here in Miami. And immediately Jeremy Davis wasting no time getting to the inside lane of Alex Bates, the 40, the silver bullet. Middle three wide. Here comes Happy Jose Solis Jr. Three wide on the outside, gets around Alex Bates, gets around Jeremy Davis. He wants a shot at the race lead. And he is not alone. Here comes Larry Pace in the bottom. Emily Howe tags the wall just behind him. Jeremy Davis in the sucker hole here in Homestead. As they getting down to the inside lane here. Trying to over-under on the 25 of Hernandez, who has led some laps today. Here comes Solis to the white line. Larry Pace sitting in third. Emily Howe up to fourth. McKissick already back into the top five. And there's the 44 right there with them. Remember the struggles that they had back in Fontana. These two are not friends or fans of each other. They're obviously two of the best drivers in the series. They're going to be around each other quite a lot, especially at a track here like Homestead. Solis, fastest lap, 34.55. McKissick led the most laps in the opening stanza of this race. Now stuck behind Howe and Hernandez. Hendrick satellite car, the 44 car of Tyler Head. Same conjunction as Hernandez and the rest of the Hendrick squad is Tom Willett. You see the 21 car, he was going for a little bit of a wild ride. That Wood Brothers Ford not in a happy place. Getting passed now by both Ryan and Cruz. Puts him out of the top 20. Christina Ryan back up to 19th. Brandon Cruz in 20th for car 20. Just behind them is Craig Lautenslager and Anthony Kroback. Christina gets right to the white line. Cruz up near the wall. McKissick up to third. Got around Hernandez, got around Emily Howe. Tyler Head shadowing, so is the defending champion Christian Budd. McKissick entered this race as the points leader, trying to maintain that here. Larry Pace, though, is the one pressuring your race leader, Jose Solis Jr., at front by less than 0.2 of a second. It's a car length and a half between the top two, and then 3/4 of a second, about 6 car lengths down to McKissick, who's trying to close that gap in. We've had 2 early yellows to kick off this race. Trying to put together a green flag run. Here comes the 6 of Dylan Roberts. He's on the charge, as is the 22 of Potak and the 33 of Brian Andrew. Brian Andrew lost spots early, lost several spots early. Trying to crawl those spots back. So is Andrew Ferrinares, already up 4. Side by side, Kirk Marble battling with Ryan Doucette. Kirk Marble, not a slouch. Ryan Doucette, though, the only pro driver in the field. The eNASCAR driver, Ryan Doucette, will slot in behind the Roush Racing National Guard Ford Taurus of Kirk Marble. Very close-knit group, this Winstel Racing community. It always feels nice when you meet someone as skillful as Doucette. Saw a little bit of battling there. It is just up the road. You saw Gabriel Mauricio sliding around a little bit, dealing with his teammate Hernandez, and the Hendrick adjacent car, the 4 of Jeremy Davis. Everyone dancing around. Jeremy Davis trying to find some clean real estate behind these 2 Hendrick cars. Teammates duking it out here. Mauricio, the Brazilian, last year's Daytona 500 winner, will gain that spot up to 11th for car 5. That Kellogg Chevrolet now having to chase down the 14 of Ferrinares and the 33 of Brian Andrew. Bunch of Chevrolets up in the top 10 at the moment, including the top 2 leading the way. Solis continues to lead, and it's about a 1/4 second, 2 full car lengths between himself and Larry Pace, but Larry Pace has such a better drive off of turns 1 and 2 to just keep applying the pressure. Brandon McKissick will have his hands full, reeling these 2 in and then trying to pass them in that Dodge Charger. He has broken away from the previous champions both the past 2 years. Tyler Head, the 2023 champion. Christian Budd, the defending series champion. Definitely Dylan Roberts. These 3 were in the championship battle last year, and they're battling for the top 5 right now. Emily Howell right now 3rd in points, trying to stay ahead of the 22 of Potak. Howell goes top of the racetrack. Bill Davis Dodge of Potak will go to the bottom and get clear, and so will Ryan Andrew without much issue there. Potak clipped the wall there. Just a slight brush on that 22, and that will not help. Ryan Hill's day officially done. Josh Chen a lap down. Everyone else on the lead lap in this unusual race that has had 44 starters. Laps completed. I'm going to grab a bit of a speed comparison here for Nick Doucette. He was running faster than the leader earlier in this race. Not the case now, having just gone around his teammate Hernandez. Hernandez falling backwards. Remember, he started up near the front. It was a fuel-only stop for Hernandez to get those laps led. And he is dropping back pretty quickly, but he got the 5 bonus points for leading a lap. And you're seeing the difference there between Doucette and the race leader, Larry Pace. We'll actually pivot back up there because Larry Pace did get around Jose Solis Jr. And we'll take a look at how that pass happened here. This was side by side. Solis just tagged the wall a little bit out of turn 2. And it gave Larry Pace all he needed to run that inside lane and get around through. And you see him just clear it into 3 and 4. So Larry Pace up at the front of the field now. Solis, though, driving deep into turn 3. Then McKissick in 3rd. Tyler Head 4th. Christian Budd top 5. And McKissick, because these two have been battling a little bit more, McKissick has arrived on the scene. 2 Chevrolets and a Dodge, front and center. Jose losing the touch on that 49 car. He's going to get passed by McKissick here. McKissick on the inside lane. So Jose did a really good job trying to cover that off. McKissick just got a way better run here coming out of turn 3 and 4. You see Jose a little tight in that 29 car. And he's going to tag the wall because of it. Not a great time for Jose Solis Jr. McKissick going to get right to the bumper of Larry Pace. Almost turned the 09, and that was going to be a problem. All 3 of the race leaders almost in a huge amount of trouble. Larry Pace not going to appreciate that bump. And caution's out. Further back in the field. Davila, part of it. It looks like the 77 Austin Reedy also a part of it. And it breaks up that lead fight before it got particularly ugly. So we'll take a look at what happened here. 3rd caution of the night here in Homestead. And you see this giant cluster 4 wide does not work. Actually starts ahead of Davila. Starts with Austin Reedy. Davila just gets himself caught up in it. And this is a hornet's nest. Davila and Reedy, the 34 and the 77 are you going to want to look at here. Yeah, that's just Reedy getting loose and turning up the nose of Davila there. Unfortunate. Only those 2 cars involved, thankfully. But the Argentinian just cannot catch a break. Riding on board with the 34. And that's Davila's race in a nutshell. Davila gonna get some repairs done on that 34 Chevrolet. McKissick will leave pit lane in front of Larry Pace and Jose Solis Jr. as they entered pit lane. McKissick leads as we've crossed the halfway point here in Miami. It is McKissick over Pace, Solis, Tyler Head, and Dylan Roberts, your top 5. flag flies, and away we go. Third restart of the race. And Larry Pace got really loose all of a sudden. That was scary for the 09. He's going to lose several spots because of it. Question now is who can stop Brandon McKissick? That seems like an easier question to ask than answer. Solis will try to answer that. So will Tyler Head. Larry Pace recovering after only losing technically one spot on all of that. But he is not happy in that 09 car. His car all over the place. You see that 09 just bouncing around. Usually you don't see something that bad unless the drive shaft is broken. That's not the case. Willett once again trouble further back in 23rd. He's going to lose another spot here. His car really not happy on these colder tires. Really not happy there. Stays ahead of Trippiano, but will fall a spot to Brennan McGee. Biggest mover now has shifted from Tyler Murray to Nick Doucette. Up to the 11th spot. Gotten ahead of Ferrinares. Trying to chase down his teammate, Gabriel Mauricio. And it is an absolute madhouse here at the top of the board. Ryan Andrews made his way into the top three. Here he goes. Front and center. Trying to apply pressure here. It is now two Richard Childress cars chasing down the Chip Ganassi Racing Dodge of McKissick. 33 trying to run the outside just a little bit. Solis also moves up to run that same line. So the Childress teammates working in tandem right now. And that's a dangerous thing to see. Seeing Jose with a teammate that's got the same tendencies right now. Andrew stays top, running the middle to top lane. Solis ran the inside, shadowing McKissick here. Fan out and they stagger. Nick Doucette caught up to Emily Howe for 10th. See as they go down the back straight, a really good camera shot there of just what these drivers are doing coming out of turn 2 and that approach all the way to turn 3. On the 22 of Potak at Caterpillar. Bill Davis Dodge trying to find a way around the two champions as they battle side by side. Dylan Roberts also up near the wall. Keep an eye a little bit further back also as well. This is Ferrinares trying to defend from Lautenslager, Cruz, Hernandez, and Alexander. Several of these drivers having a race of the season so far for them. It kind of says a lot about how bad the season has gone for them, that they're battling for 15th. And this is a highlight. But that's how the season started. The season has been chaotic from start to finish so far. For the first 5 races, Parker Alexander, the 8 car, not in a happy place as well. Lautenslager having a really good run. So is Cruz. Ferrinares, we knew he had some pace, but it seems to have fallen off a lot in that 14 car. Everyone's right now trying to chase down Christina Ryan and Kirk Marble. Those two Fords have worked with Ryan Doucette to get away from this group. Working very hard to get away. It has not been easy. Ryan Andrews gotten his way around his teammate. Solis down to 3rd, Andrew up to 2nd. Going to try to apply pressure onto Brandon McKissick. outside there once more. So let's drop it back just a little bit more. Now side by side, this is Cruz coming down pit lane. Pit stops have begun, and the 20 will be the first one to bite. So Cruz down pit lane for the first time. And Ryan Andrew, Jose Solis Jr. Up third. Pit stop's probably not far away from him either. The car just not rotating very well for the 29. Solis not happy. He wants that car a little bit looser. It just isn't there right now. And you see it's letting his teammate and McKissick walk away. The 48 crew, Sean Pellig also down pit lane. See Tyler Head falling backwards a decent amount. He has dropped out of the top 10. He is now in 12th, under threat from Kirk Marble and Christina Ryan. I would assume pit stop's not far away for the 44 crew either, coming to 15 laps to go. Not this time. They're going to give it a couple more laps. You want to try to end the race with the best tires you can. So that's where we're at right now. Christina Ryan having a good run, up 18 spots. Still not the biggest mover, but still belongs to Nick Doucette, who's up 24 spots, the Canadian. Car 24 in P10, up 24 spots, trying to chase down Emily Howe. 22 of Posak comes down pit lane. And he sped. Oh, that's not great for the 22 of Posak. You saw the lock-up tires, the tire smoke there. Overshot pit entry for the 22. I would be genuinely surprised if Posak doesn't have a speeding penalty. We'll find out. Tyler Head falling back more and more. He's lost out to Alexander and to Hernandez. And Brendan McGee's not far behind either. More cars in pit lane. Christina Ryan, Emily Howe, Brendan McGee, all down pit lane. See them quickly make their way onto pit lane. A great job there for them. That is Evan Melanson also coming down pit lane. Front of the field is still a two-car fight at the moment. Solis has dropped down to 5th. Behind Larry Pace and Dylan Roberts. So several cars beginning to fall off here. They have not had long run cars. These two have had the best long run cars. And they stay out again as we approach 12 laps to go. Kirk Marble down pit lane. Ryan Doucette down pit lane. Sorry, not Ryan Doucette, Nick Doucette down pit lane. Laps to go. McKissick and Ryan Andrew lead the way. Larry Pace having a tiptoe. That is Jacob Posak trying to get a lap back. Posak, one of those that came down pit lane earlier. Could be a threat here. Here comes McKissick. And the rest of the top 5 all down pit lane together. Solis will re-inherit the lead for a lap, but he's going to lose a lot of time now. About to get passed by Brendan McGee. McGee going to get himself a lap back here. Ryan Doucette, Parker Alexander, Jonathan Hernandez, Tyler Head, your new top 5. And outside of Ryan Doucette, all 5 of the top 5 have had parachutes in this run. They've all fallen backwards. Solis still trying to stay out. He's hoping for a caution, is what he's hoping for, to try to stay out. 9 to go. I don't think you're going to get it. Alexander comes down. So does Brandon Coppinger. And Jacob Potak will inherit the overall, once the cycle's through, he will inherit the late race lead. The issue is that right now he's only 21st. Solis staying out another lap, coming to 8 laps to go. I doubt he has saved an entire 10 laps of fuel, but I've been shocked before. He's going to save a little bit of time on what will be a 2-tire stop when he comes down pit lane, but it will not be enough to overcome the hemorrhaging he's going through right now. I'm genuinely surprised that Solis, Ryan Doucette, Jonathan Hernandez, and Tyler Head all stayed out here. That as many cars have stayed out as we have seen. Because again, as we mentioned, that battle for the race, that for what could be the race lead, is still cycling through. It is only 19th place. Davila's in. Argentinian will pit down from the top 10. Everyone in the top 18 last came down pit lane on lap 31 or 32. There's never been a circumstance where this field has been able to go half the race on one stop. And Solis is saving. You can see it. He is saving. See if we can ride on board. That car shut off. He is saving fuel right now to the max. And you see the drop off there in the speed. 11 miles an hour slower for Solis. He is trying to save fuel. And he's coasting so early into 3. That's Lonslager and Willett that got through. Everyone that has stayed out all the way through the top 16 are doing exactly what Solis is doing right now. Right on board Doucette. Ryan Doucette, 9 miles an hour slower. Tyler Head, same boat, not as slow. But when you're saving fuel, you can't really catch up to anybody. Hernandez right there as well. Hernandez not turning the car off. He's not clutching. And that's because he's coming down pit lane. He can't make it. And so will Evan Locke. His chance to try to make it on fuel comes to a close. This is so interesting to me, watching this all play out across the last 4 laps of this race. Solis is trying to save fuel. Everyone in the top 5 doing their best to try to save fuel. Look at this top 5. It is Solis, Doucette, Tyler Head, Andy Cipriano, and Andrew Griesbaum, the BAM Racing 49, that has not finished top 5 in so long here in Winstel. And it won't here. He's come down pit lane. The dream was alive, but unfortunately, having to come down pit lane to take some fuel will dash those hopes in order to now move the 4 of Jeremy Davis up into the top 5 here. He has gotten around Trupiano. Radcliffe in the 19, also looking to be the best Ray Evernham machine of the bunch in top 5 now. Trupiano drops down to 6th. Matt Taylor 7th. Fairy Dares, Benson, Snipes, your top 10. McKay McKissick has gotten around Potak once again, but now they're encountering more of these cars that are trying to save fuel. That's Steinhaus with the 55. This is just so unfamiliar. The territory we're seeing right now. Solis will come out of turn number 4. If he can hold on for a mile and a half, he's going to do the unthinkable. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go here in Miami. 3 cars within a second. Solis has been so hardcore saving, trying to get to this point. He's got to hold on and make it last. Didn't clutch that time. He thinks he can do it. He's got to try. If not, then it's going to be in the hands of Ryan Doucette and Tyler Head. Out of 4. Here it comes. On a massive fuel save, it's Happy Jose. Jose Solis Jr. wins. Here in Homestead-Miami, Tyler Head could not take the battle for second. Just a little bit shy at the line. Ryan Doucette running out of fuel. Jeremy Davis rounds out the top 4. Matt Taylor ends up top 5. An amazing run of form. The 32 car. Andrew Ratcliffe top 6. But it is all in the hands of Jose Solis Jr. Your winner here in Homestead. A wild fuel save race, having to save 30 laps of fuel. And I have a feeling we're not going to see much in the way of burnouts here. But it will not matter. Solis wins in Miami. An incredible job by the 29 crew. You will burn it down. Results top of your screen. We were not expecting any of the fuel saving that we saw. The top 10 in its entirety, fuel saved through to the finish of that race. What a charge. We'll pull up the top 10 that made it, and an amazing job here. It's Solis, Ryan Doucette, Tyler Head, your top 3, Jeremy Davis, Matt Taylor, top 5, Andrew Ratcliffe, Andrew Ferrinares, Kyle Benson, Philip Snipes, and Tyler Murray. All of them fuel saved enough to avoid a pit stop and to lock in an incredible finish here. Brandon McKissick, Matt Sisler, Jacob Potak, Larry Pace, Ryan Andrew, top 15. All these drivers had to make that pit stop late. Dylan Roberts, Gabriel Mauricio, Andy Trupiano, Emily Howe, Christian Budd, Nick Doucette, Kirk Marble, Brendan McGee, Christina Ryan, Austin Reedy. We had 36 cars finish on the lead lap. We'll go all the way through that. Alex Bates, Craig Lautenslager, Anthony Krobach, Tom Willett, Brandon Cruz, Brandon Coppinger, Evan Mellinson, Parker Alexander, Jonathan Hernandez, and Corey Steinhauser, your top 35. Locked the last car on the lead lap, and it's Davila, Griesbaum, Huff, Peleg. And then you see Corey Cook, the first one that did not make the field today. Ryan Hill, again, we have 44 starters. We'll have to see what the investigation says on that. Who started that shouldn't have. Was not a great finish there for Kyle Gray, but a great start. Ended up retiring after 28 laps. Josh Chin made it beyond the halfway point, but no further than that. And Chris Champeau, 41st. Also not finishing this race. We've got some interviews to do here, so let's go ahead and start with our third place finisher here, Tyler Head. Obviously, fuel mileage going to be a huge talking point from this race. Tyler, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. Do you got a copy?
I'm here.
What a fuel save drive by everyone that finished top 10 today. It didn't seem possible. For most of the field, it wasn't possible. Walk us through how you made that one happen.
Well, I was keenly aware of the fact that it was there and available. The question was just if we were going to from that last pit stop that we took, go green to the end from that final caution that we had. So it was a bit of a gamble to, I committed to it way harder than Jose and Ryan, who did it better than I did. They kept their track position and made it all the way to the end, and I really surrendered it and made sure that I was going to make it. So opportunity for me to take a couple notes on how to do that in the future. But yeah, it worked out. Everything, stayed tidy enough to keep us green to the end there. And I ended up charging in the last 10 laps, kind of using all the fuel that I had saved to, try to put pressure on those guys. And had Ryan run out right at the start finish line, and I sputtered coming to the start finish line, and came up very close to getting P2 there, but Jose had it all handily covered there, so hats off to him.
A wild result here, obviously a good result for the 44 crew, coming off of what has been a very chaotic string of races. Obviously, you're running part-time. You're not running for that full-time schedule, not trying to anyways. A result like this, does it kind of help shake off, the results, like Fontana, like Bristol, where you can kind of be like, okay, yeah, this 44 car is where we want it to be when you do jump back on that car?
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps a lot with the top 35 with having only run so many races this year and having so many people who are interested in running with us, which is a fantastic thing. Um, if I hadn't run tonight there, I was going to have to qualify in on time next week at Darlington. That's a place where you can easily, tap the wall in qualifying on your one lap and find yourself going home. So we have fend that off for another week and carry on. And this was a bit of a confidence boost too, because before I decided to just surrender my track position for the fuel mileage game, I had decent pace. I think I was, a third to seventh place car, depending on, how the circumstances were. So this not being one of my better tracks, that's a confidence boost. And we get to go to Darlington next week, which is a place that I really enjoy, even if it does tend to chew me up and spit me back out.
Well, you finished third in a race that inadvertently had as many cars as your car number. We had 44 starters today. You were the third best of the bunch when it came to that strategy game. Before we let you go and let you get ready for the races coming up here, as you mentioned, Darlington up next is going to be a very big race for the field. If there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on an amazing drive and an amazing fuel save to get the podium.
Just thank you to everybody that puts on these races week in and week out. It's, it's something that is appreciated, but often goes underappreciated just with, how much work goes in behind the scenes. So hats off to Brennan and Christian Budd, Alex Bates, Emily Howe, Parker Alexander, Philip Snipes, all of them that are, working to make this happen every week. Tip of the cap to you for the fantastic broadcasts that you put on. And definitely a big shout out to everybody that shows up each week, even those that, end up trying to make the show and D&Q, because, that support is what makes this league happen.
Absolutely. 9 cars failed to make the field tonight. Tyler had no such issues, and he's locked in now for Darlington. That top 35 pretty well secure with a top 3 finish here in Miami. Tyler, enjoy the podium, and we'll see you in South Carolina next week.
Thank you very much.
That was Tyler Head, the P3 finisher here. We'll move right on along to Ryan Doucette, the second place finisher here in Miami. Fuel save to the max, running out right at the line. Ryan, walk us through that fuel save. When did you make that pivot, and exactly how perfect could you have gotten it?
Well, the fuel saving started the run before the last run, about 4 laps into that run, when I realized how close we were. And at that point, I had already lost a few spots from where I restarted. And yeah, for those last few runs, I was just committed to the fuel save. And during the last run, I didn't notice how close we were until probably 2 laps after the restart. It was right around when I passed the 8 car, because I realized how slow he was going. I was like, man, we must be close to the fuel number again. And yeah, I just went into super save mode from there, and barely made it. As you guys could see, I started sputtering right at the first line of the Guy Kart restart zone, coming to the checkered.
It was obviously a wild sort of turn of events. It was really a big question of who could and who couldn't. Ultimately, the top 10 all were able to make the fuel save happen, and it worked out here for you. We know how good that you are on a regular basis. that 13 car looked good. Do you think that there's anything you could have done there with the 29 had it not been a fuel safe strategy game?
I don't know. I was a little uncomfortable with just how everybody was running the bottom. I'm not a huge fan of just riding in line with cars nose to tail on these 1.5 miles. I usually try to find the clean air, and I have a feeling I would have burned my tires off, but I think I still could have gotten a decent finish out of it. I don't know if I would have been in contention for the win, but Homestead is one of my favorite tracks, and this was a very nice rebound from the quarter of a straightaway I made it at Bristol. So it definitely felt good to come home with second place tonight.
And the racing obviously keeps going here. We've got another couple races before we get to our first break here. We've got Darlington and North Wilkesboro coming up here, 2 races that are going to be extremely challenging. Obviously, the 13 car has not been here for every race. Is Darlington or North Wilkesboro on the calendar for the 13 crew? And if so, is there anticipation that you'll be able to continue this success?
I'm not sure what my other league schedule looks like, but I plan to be there, and those are 2 tracks that I feel pretty strongly about my driving abilities at. I know Jose also is pretty good at Darlington, so that should be a fun race. I expect the both of us to be up towards the front during that one. Good win to him tonight, as well as Tyler. Good run to him, and everybody else that was able to make it on fuel.
Yeah, phenomenal job for the entire top 10 that were able to do the same strategy and make it work here tonight. Before we let you go and let you get ready for all the racing coming up here very shortly, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on an amazing run and an amazing fuel stage strategy drive to get to that podium.
Oh yeah, just thanks to my Altus Esports teammates for all their support. They usually turn out for some of these broadcasts and give me some pointers, give me some crap. It's a fun time. Thanks to all the guys for racing me clean and all the competitors for keeping it green there towards the end. Who knows how the end of the race that would have played out if we cut a yellow. I'm usually tend to be on the bad end of luck when we have late race restarts, so I was definitely glad to see it go green to the end.
Absolutely. It was a phenomenal drive and a phenomenal run for the 13 crew. Ryan, enjoy the podium, and hopefully we get to see you again in Darlington next weekend.
Thank you. I hope so too.
That was Ryan Dissett, the second place finisher. And before we talk to Jose, I'm going to kind of break through an interlude here. In case this randomly cuts off in the middle of this interview, we are in the middle of a tornado watch here in ABN Studios here in southwestern Ohio. So if there is a sudden cutoff, understand that there is safety that we need to kind of play with here when we talk about the weather at ABN Studios. So bear with us for a second. That being said, we're going to try to race through the weather and talk to our race winner here, Jose Solis Jr., Fuel Save Mastermind. It is Happy Jose tonight here, a race winner in Miami. Jose, walk us through it. It seemed like a late pivot for you to make that switch to the Fuel Save, and it was everything you needed to do to get the win tonight.
Yeah, I noticed that when the yellow came out, like the auto fuel thing said that we needed like 3 more laps to be able to make it on gas. So like kind of like from that start there, I just kind of like was thinking about fuel saving. I wasn't like clutching it and like slowing down a lot at the start. I was just like coasting and lifting a little earlier than usual. But yeah, that fuel saving strat was pretty good that race.
A fantastic job for the 29 crew here. Obviously, the fuel save worked out, but that 29 car had pace all race long. Most laps led for the 29 crew as well. This was a track that typically was highlighted as a track that you were going to do well at. Is this traditionally just a track that does well for you, or was this something that was just a little bit above and beyond?
Yeah, I would say like in general, like I'm pretty good at this track. Because I felt like I was ninth there. I started ninth, but then I took 2 tires. I was able to stay up there even with the worst tires. So yeah, I feel like this track and like Mount House in general like pretty good for me.
It worked out phenomenally here. First win in Miami for you here in quite some time in the Winstel ranks at least here, and it continues to kind of move you closer and closer to the top of the point standings here. Darlington and North Wilkesboro, the next 2 races before we get to our first week off. Are we expecting a little bit more of the same from the 29 crew? Is Darlington a track where you have the ability to sort of shine like you did tonight, or is there a little bit more that goes into a race like Darlington?
Yeah, I'd say Darlington's like one of my better tracks for sure. So yeah, definitely something like what happened tonight. Definitely probably see same thing at Darlington. Then Norfolk Square, that's like the opposite for me. I'm like not very good there or short tracks in general. So, but yeah, I'd say Darlington's pretty good for me.
It was a phenomenal race and a phenomenal fuel save, going 30 laps on a single tank of fuel to make it to the end here in Miami. Before we let you get ready for Darlington next week and obviously celebrate the win tonight, if there's anyone to shout out, the floor is yours. Congratulations on an impressive drive tonight, Jose. Take it away.
Yeah, shout out to Sean Pellig. I know he got murdered there on like lap 3 or whatever. I know he's gotten like murdered like in the first 5 laps of like every race season. So yeah, but shout out to him. You know, he kept his cool and he was like raging and whatever in the on our voice channel and like you know making a lot of entertainment during the yells. He's like raging every yell. But yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to my competitors for not saving as much fuel as me. That helped me secure the win, of course. And then yeah, I mean, appreciate everyone.
A phenomenal drive for Jose Solis Jr., a race winner once again, mastermind of the fuel save here in Miami. We'll see if he can do it again in 7 days' time in Darlington. Jose, enjoy the race win. We'll see you in South Carolina next weekend.
Thank you.
That was Jose Solis Jr., our race winner here in Homestead-Miami Speedway. We did get through the interviews just in time, so we're going to take advantage of the borrowed time we've got here with the weather that we're going through right now, and we will go ahead and just go through the full running order here. So let's go ahead and make our way to the results tab. Jose Solis Jr. over Ryan Doucette, Tyler Head, Jeremy Davis, Matt Taylor, Andrew Ratcliffe, Andrew Ferrinares, Kyle Benson, Philip Snipes, and Tyler Murray, your top 10 here in Miami. And then you've got Brandon McKissick, Matt Sisler, Jacob Potak, Larry Pace, and Ryan Andrew, all in your top 15. The top 10 made it without making another stop after lap 31. Brandon McKissick and all of those that you're seeing right now, with the exception of Sisler, had to make a pit stop. Sisler stayed out and gained overall a lot of positions there. Him and the 08 both gained positions there despite not pitting for fuel there. Roberts, Mauricio, Trupiano, Howe, and Bud, they rounded out your top 20. You have Nick Doucette, Kirk Marble, Brendan McGee, Christina Ryan, Austin Reedy, Alex Bates, Craig Lautenslager, Anthony Krovac, and Tom Willett, your top 29. 30th place, Brandon Cruz. And then it's Brandon Cobbinger, Evan Mellinson, Parker Alexander, Jonathan Hernandez, Corey Steinhauser, Evan Locke, Lucas Davila, Andrew Griesbaum, Ken Huff, and Sean Pelleg. All 40 of the top 40 finished this race. You look at some of the drivers that did not finish this race and some of those that did not start. Champeau, Chen, Gray, and Hill, they all did not finish this race. Corey Cook on down did not finish. Edlison, Brown, Skipper, Morera, and Repas will try to get in next week at a track arguably even more difficult. It is the track too tough to tame. It is Darlington Raceway to next Sunday, 7:45 p.m. here on ABN Studios. You're going to see us once again from the Lady in Black. We hope you join us next Saturday on both Twitch and YouTube, beginning at 7 a.m. Platinum Endurance Championship, 12 hours of them all. We hope to join us for that one as well. On behalf of everyone here for ABN, for Winstel, and all of its partners, I'm Carmen Sienna. Thank you all so much for joining us. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you next weekend from Darlington. So long, everybody.